doubles and coffee. I wake up this morning to read papers and see that Keith Christopher Rowley, the PNM Prime Minister, says that education is a key component of the PNM's anti-crime strategy. Now let's follow that statement from Keith Christopher Rowley for a moment, because when I tell you all that you all have elected such an idiot who has no plan, no policy, no understanding, no care about you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He just says things wherever he go, they breeze at him. So in a graduation, he's seeing graduates and he gets excited and he say education is the key. Well, let's analyze Keith Christopher Rowley as Prime Minister for nearly 9 years. For 8 years and 10 months, Rowley has been Prime Minister. Rowley cut education across the board at every key component. He stopped laptops. He didn't build a school. He finished 2 schools. Tim Gopi Singh and Kamala built 106 schools in 5 years and 4 months. Rowley cut funding to UTT. They had to shut down programs. He cut funding to MIC and NESC, closed down centers. He cut funding to Costa. He cut funding to teachers. He could not give teachers increased pay. He cut span in school. He cut the sport development officers. He cut funding for sport. He increased the problems across the board for teachers with indiscipline and so on, and did not give them any tools to operate. He cut funding and closed down THTTI, the Tourism Institute that trained our young people to take advantage of opportunities in tourism. He shut down the nursing school in El Dorado. And he is talking about education is a key component of the PNM's anti-crime strategy. Well, let me put it this way. If that is true, then Rowley, you have fueled crime. You know that that's your anti-crime strategy. Yet you cut gate from 726 million under Fazal Karim and Kamla Prasad Bisesa in 2014 down to under 300 million. 59,000 students were doing tertiary education at that time, paid for by gate. That is down now to 27,000. So you cut funding to education, knowing that education is an anti-crime strategy of yours. Therefore, I put it to you, Rowley, that you have fueled crime. You have encouraged crime by your own words, by your own confession, by your own admission. You cut education, therefore you cut the anti-crime strategy. And then there has been an increase in crime under your 8 years and 10 months as Prime Minister, never before seen. You've broken record after record for murder, home invasions, now not even safe in your house where you're paying your own mortgage, where you build your own house. Man coming in there with gun and shooting and killing you. Murders left, right and center. Hurricane coming and guns still shooting. That's what you have done, because you cut education, you cut opportunities, you cut sport, you cut art, you cut funding to the movies, the company that creates movies and entertainment. You cut funding to the Soca Monarch. You cut funding to Pan. Pan man getting half the money that Kamala gave. So you have admitted that you knowingly fueled crime. You knowingly took away anti-crime measures. Education. You sat in cabinet and took decision after decision that you knew would encourage and increase the crime rate, that would make the population less safe. You have admitted that you have done that. So you come in to tell us that education is a key anti-crime strategy, yet you have cut every bit of funding to education. And for your PNM sycophants who are going to say, but he couldn't keep the funding up as with Kamala because they didn't have money. Number one, Rowley spent more money than Kamala. In 5 years and 4 months, Rowley spent $15 billion more than Kamala. Rowley has spent over $500 billion in his 8 years and 10 months. Rowley has had money. If you're saying that's so anti-crime is not a priority, keeping people safe is not a priority, well, look at Rowley, some of his priorities. 233 million to keep Atlantic Train 1 alive when it was dead and buried and nobody wanted it. Plus another 150 million, that's 400 million. 2 car park at 131 million each, that's 262 million wasted on cars not parking. Fixing up and matching up Skinner Park, $131 million wasted. Hasely Crawford Stadium and Stadium in Diego Martin, over cumulatively $250 million of nothingness, cheapness, and not being utilized even for cricket, not even Merry Boys playing. Brian Lara Academy, over $140 million since 2016 spending to refurbish, to power wash, to do all kind of things. That is the money that Rowley expended. $45 million on his place in Blenheim, Tobago, so that he could line with Warner Construction and drink scotch and eat shrimps. 200 extra million on the Red House that leak on Donna Cox's wig. Another 110 million for President's House so he could put a PNM president in it. You like the priorities? Diego Martin, $165 million for a road to nowhere that nobody does use so that we can reach the mall quicker. They also spend $180 million, but you have to pay $400 million for a Ministry of Health Administration building when the hospital had rat, the hospital had rain, the hospital had no bed, the nurses understaffed, underused, and they cannot get any money. That's Rowley's priorities. $233 million on a mosquito crack that crack and mash up. Over $280 million on a so-called highway to Valencia and so on. They only have a roundabout into the bush. That is Rowley's expenditure. That is his priorities. Over $150 million to IFC, which is small pin father in charge. Ewart Williams, resign and gone. Not an investment, not a bank, nothing come. $150 million disappear. Another $100 million across the board for some fella in the USA to be able to get meetings with congressmen and so on for Rowley. Rowley and them still up there walking around, spranging to meet anybody on the steps of the Congress. That is Rowley's priorities, not education. So I put it to you that Rowley, who spent $55 million on a DPP office that nobody went in, not even a mosquito fly to bite a lawyer inside of there. That is Rowley's priorities. So Rowley has admitted that he is fueling crime. His decisions are fueling crime. And he has wasted your money. And for you all who feel Rowley spent more money than any prime minister in a 9-year period ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And nothing works. And he cut everything for the people, everything for the children, everything across the board. And spend your money on total, complete nonsense. Rowley has created this crime scourge. Rowley has fueled the crime. Rowley has fueled home invasion. Rowley has you unsafe. So Rowley, you play games of, oh, I call the election. No, get ready. It may come in the morning. Baby. Oh, yes, it's all a joke for you while people suffering. But whenever you flipping call it, the people will riot with a finger for you. You will get the real finger, Rowley. So you take your time. You call it when you want. Play games with people. People not suffering because they went in a concert. The people waiting for you. Black people, Indian people, mixed people, Dogra people, Hindu people, Muslim people, Christian people, Catholic people, business people, teacher people, labor people, all the people waiting for you, your bald-head miscreant, Keith Christopher Rowley. You wait.